Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I'm just going to go and get a little bit more fertilizer, and you may notice that I have got 38,834, which is precisely 30 grand more than I had in the last episode. I did ask you to put in the comment section this previous week if you thought that I should be adding in some additional money to make up for the fact that we had all of that issue with the tree stumps up there. We had all of that problem with the tree stumps up there, and did you think that I should be doing something about it? Where was I? Just having a look. Yeah, did you think that I should be doing something about it? Did you think that I should be just leaving it as is or starting again? Oh, I was literally just started right on there is what we'd done. So I'm going to go back onto that bit. And the majority of you said that you felt that I should be adding in the money because it wasn't due to my gameplay. It wasn't due to my decisions that we ended up... Oh, hang on a minute. You may have also noticed, if you've just seen there, I got AI vehicle extension. I have now got that one installed, but we're going to go with the normal AI on this bit, right here. Just let that one carry on up through there. The vehicle extension is really good, but I don't want it for this bit. So, yeah, most of you said that I should add the money back, and I did. What I did up there, it was an experiment, and it was an experiment that failed. It did not work as we wanted, did not work as intended, and so we've sort of learned our lesson from that, and we have moved on. It's all ready to go. It's all done. We've done everything that we want to do up there. At least I think we have. So we're going to ignore that, and we're going to go back now over to this one. And also, this one has stopped doing its really weird thing. If you remember, it was doing a really strange thing where it was sort of sliding all over the place, and I couldn't quite understand why. I don't really know. I'm going to assume that it was something to do with... I'm just double-checking that this is all in order, and it is all in order. We've got everything done up here that we want to do. I'm going to assume that it was something to do with the fact that we loaded it onto the low loader, and then it fell off of the low loader, and that's not really how it's supposed to work. And, like, the low loader does kind of hold the machines on there a little bit. It doesn't do it tremendously well at times, but it usually does do a pretty reasonable job of it. So I'm going to assume that it was because of the fact that we were on the low loader and then the machine fell off and we put it onto the tractor. So it gave itself a larger than normal hitbox. It gave itself a larger hitbox than it should have had, according to the game, and that was what was causing it to be really weird. Few people did run some tests for that one in the Discord, and they posted back their results. Absolutely unable to replicate the whole issue. Nobody was able to replicate that in any way, shape, or form, so we can safely assume that it was indeed because of the whole vehicle being on the low loader, and that would have been what caused it. There doesn't seem to be any other valid explanation for it. Now, I'm just going to go over to this one, and we're going to make sure that we've done all of the fertilizing that we want to do. We've got a little bit down there, but we might just leave that bit. So let's start you up here, and I'm going to drive around the rock here and just get this last little bit of fertilizing done around here. And there is that one strip down through there, so maybe we could go and do something with that. I'm not quite sure yet. Really made up my mind. I'll get that bit done there, like that. And down here. Right, that bit's all done. So now, I suppose it's not going to hurt to do one line up through there, is it? And then we'll do some more afterwards when we've replanted it. We've got to replant the grass along that side. And then we can start ploughing up the main area up there to get our new field in. And combining is sort of our main thing. Oh, another thing that a lot of people have been saying is we've got, at the moment, a loan with a very high interest rate on it. And considering the amount of money we have injected into the local economy, surely by this point we should be able to have a better loan. We should be able to have our interest rates renegotiated. So I'm going to have a look at that and possibly change the interest rate so that we have a better interest rate. And it's also been pointed out that we have an interest-only loan. We're not actually repaying the capital. And this is also something of a problem. So maybe what we should be doing is we should be repaying the capital. Now, I'm not aware of anything at the moment, but I would be very curious to know if anybody knows of any mods that allow capital repayment to be included with loan payments. So you have to still make your loan payment, but it will also repay capital. So, you know, when we have a loan repayment in the middle of the night, and or the interest payment in the middle of the night, and it ends up putting us into negative money. That would still happen, but our actual main loan would start to go down, start to be lowered. And I think that would be really cool. So if anybody knows of a mod that will actually do that, that'd be fantastic. I'll take a look at it. Another thing I asked about was the sheep over here. I said, what is the best rate for having the sheep? Once we fill that pen up, if I buy a large sheep pen, what should I do with the large sheep pen? Should I put all of the sheep in there and then trickle them back into the small pen? Should I put 50-50 in the pens? Or, how should I do it? And a few people ran some testing. Petro Gracemark did. He's usually one of the ones that does testing. And we also had some others. And I'm really, really sorry, but I can't remember who else did it. I think the feed guy actually did some testing on this one. I'm not sure about who else, but there was at least a couple of people that ran some testing on it. And the test results were that if you want to, it doesn't really matter. You can put the sheep however you like. And it's the same with wool production as well. The differences between wool production for the big and the little pens, or splitting them and so on and so forth, pretty much non-existent. There were some very, very tiny detail, like the differences between them, but generally speaking, they were what you would accept as non-existent differences. Now, I'm going to lower that plough in there, and I'm going to go in a straight line up through here. Just like this. Right there. And that is the upper edge of our grass field. And then I'm going to go back round and I'm going to do the same again going the other way. And take that right down to the very end. And then we've got our grass field all marked out. And everything will be wonderful and amazing. So that one comes up to there. That's roughly where we had the field previously. And I'm going to go on a little bit further than I've had it before, I think. Like that. So then we can turn around here and sort of bring it over like that. And this is the bit where it's a little bit more difficult to make sure that you've got it just right. That's why you've got to be right up over the top. And I actually think that's about right there. There we go. Right, and then I bring that straight line down to there. And that's it. Right. We've now got that bit marked out. I'm not going to bother ploughing back again just yet, because I want to continue on and run this line all the way up through. Go to the end of this one right here, like this. And I'm going to run that. That's going to go straight over to those bushes over there. It's not quite the line that I had previously, I don't think. But it's close enough that I'm happy with it. So it's sort of straight up through there. Trying to use the pattern on the ground to give me a straight line to follow, which seems to be working. I know that we got the GPS system set up on this one, which we will be using. I can't use the hired help on this, but we do now have the GPS on the tractor, so we'll use the GPS to help us set this straight. Now I go up to that. Oh, there's a line going there on the side. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that's about, but yeah, it goes to about here. That shrub right there, I'm actually thinking if I go forward a little bit, is it going to remove it? No. It really, really irritates me when that happens. It's like right there. You can see it. It's literally just a tiniest fraction of an inch away from there. And it's not quite covering it. Let's just lower that one down there. Back up a little tiny bit. No. Back up a little bit more. Yes, there we go. Right, that's removed it. It's stuck it out a little tiny bit, but honestly I don't think that matters. So I'll bring this one back over here. With the edge of the field there is absolutely fine. And then I can drop this one in here. Now, I'm going to see if I can use the GPS on here. So, GPS system is Control S, like that, and I will show the lines. I've got the snap terrain angle at the moment. I'm not going to use the snap terrain angle for this bit. And then I'm going to go Alt-E, which is the one that I didn't realise before. I thought it was a different Alt, but no, it's Alt-E. So I need to go forward a little bit, like that. There. And like that. I want to go Alt-E, like that, so it brings up that little A underneath. Just like that. And then I will go forward a little bit, like that. And then I will go Alt-E again, and that has now given me a width, but that width is the wrong width. So next what we do is we go back into Control S, like that, and we go auto width, like that. So that puts it at 3.78. It shouldn't need to do anything else. If I snap the terrain angle, like that, doesn't quite follow the lines of the ploughing, does it? It does it differently. So, snap terrain angle off. Like that. I go Alt-X. That joins it on. Oh. Snap terrain angle is on anyway, so let me go back to there and have that snap terrain angle bit on there. I thought there was an update for this one where it gave me some extra bits, so I'm not really sure about that. I thought that there was something, but maybe I got that wrong. Now, snap terrain angle. Oh, maybe because of how I did the lines over there, it's not actually snapped to the terrain angle here at all. It doesn't seem to have. It seems to have been drifting over, and I thought that I had it on a terrain angle there, but apparently I didn't. So I'm going to bring it back to here, and we've got the snap terrain angle is on, so it should snap to whatever we've got on here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to go Alt-E. There. Start a new line up through. Like this. Trying to keep it straight there, and then I'll go Alt-E again, and that should now be snapped to the correct. So Alt-X to line it up like that. Right, and now you can see it has snapped to the terrain angle. You can see that line is directly in line with the plough line up through there. It's probably better if we just keep it like that. It'll do a neater and tidier job. Once we go on to our next pass, that will work out quite nicely. So this one can run along here. You can turn the lines off if you want. You don't have to have those running. Then the AI vehicle extension, I've been using that a little bit, and it works fairly well for doing the circles around the field with the tractors and with trailed implements as well. It's not going to work on here, but once we get cultivating our field up there, I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. That could be quite a cool thing to have, with it doing the cultivating using the hired help. And cultivating around the edge of the field first, and then going on and doing the main part of the field. And while it does that, we can do some other work as well. Except, we're going to have to be careful. I don't want to use a cultivator on this. I won't bother using a cultivator on this bit. I know that technically we should, because that would be realistic to go and cultivate this. Actually, we are supposed to be doing this realistically, aren't we? So, the GPS system, that's realistic. A lot of people use GPS systems, so this is a realistic thing. I'm going to remove the showing of the lines there, so we're not looking at the computer screen with them anymore. We're just doing it like this, and I'm going to go out until we've definitely reached the edge of the field. So probably I'll do 2 more passes all the way up and down, and that'll make absolutely certain that we do have this in the right spot. I am considering doing a run down the end of the field there, all the way along, just to line everything up. So we've got a dead straight edge of the field, because the way that we did have the field is slightly off the edge of the field, and that one can keep going. You can set it on auto cruise, and it'll just auto cruise itself along, but it does stop when it thinks it's come to the edge of the field, which is really good. Don't get me wrong, that is a really, really good thing, but like for a situation like this, you don't really want it, so you just have to keep your finger on the button to keep it moving forward. But yeah, I definitely think that we should have an extra little stripe up the field there. Steady. I'm just looking at where... I mean, it's pretty straight going up through there. It's not very... there's nothing much coming off of that. Oops. V is the button I'm looking for. It is pretty straight going up through there, so I don't think we've got much that we need to worry about with it, but it would be good, I think, to do 1 pass going up the field, just to like give that a perfect straight edge all the way up through. I'd quite like that this time, I think. Right, I'll lower you down there, and yes, GPS is engaged fully. That's going to go up through there, and then we've got that 1 more pass down through that should cover everything with grass here. Then we're going to leave a gap. We're going to put a little gap in between. I think we may have gone up the hill tiny bit further than we were before. No, actually, I don't think we have. Not all that much. We've got a little bit of a lump right there on the edge of where we did some of that rebuilding work. We're not going to do that again. That's absolutely not happening again. If I can't change the stump grinder to sort of reflect what I want it to, I'll simply put back in the one that we used last time, the Percy version of it that I did, and we'll use that one to do all future stump grinding, because that definitely worked. Well, I'm still not entirely sure what I did, because it wasn't the right numbers that I changed, but it seemed to work. So we'll use that one, and but I'm pretty certain I understand what numbers I've got to change now, so I will look at messing around with the stump grinder again when I find some time, and we'll use the proper stump grinder. And then if it does happen again, I will do it off screen. That's all I'm going to do. I can't edit the map. I thought that I could just edit the map, go and do it like that, but apparently you can't just go and edit the save version of the map. You've got to edit the base game map. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to go and find the trees that are causing problems, and then edit those particular trees, and then hope that they showed up correctly in the save game file when it was opened up. And I don't want to do that. That's a huge amount of messing around. It's not really something that I would consider to be a viable option for me, considering how many trees I'm likely to have to go and do. So I'm not going to be doing that. I know that I am easily within... there isn't going to be any field here. There isn't going to be any non-existent field. I don't think there's any here. I think we covered all of it. But I am doing 1 more line up here just to make absolutely certain that we've got all of the bits of non-field all the way up through here. I don't want to take any chances. I don't want to risk messing it up. I don't want to risk having little spots of grass not coming up through. I'd rather do a little bit extra now and reseed it than having to mess around with it later. And yes, admittedly, this part of the reseeding and the ploughing along here is actually still related to the issues that we had, which, as most of you pointed out, were issues with the map rather than issues with my choices that I've made in the game. So, again, this is sort of stuff that we're doing to put right an error that wasn't our own fault. that being said, you know, it's only a little tiny bit of ploughing, and I'm happy to go and do this bit. Just this little bit here, I am happy to go and cover this bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that one to there. It's not up very far. It is a little bit. It's sticking out the side just a bit. I'll bring you back to about there, I think. Yes, I made the right choice there. Oh, hang on a minute. Okay, that was a mistake. What we need to do is I need to go control here. Now, increment width, snap terrain angle. The only thing I don't like about this is that I can't... Oh, increment offset. No, offset width. Yes, I can do it using the offset. Let's show the lines a minute. And then offset. We'll do it using the offset. If I offset slightly, I can put it to exactly where I am right now. So I want to... go 0.1 offset. Oh, that's not enough. Right, so I want to increase the offset there, and I'll increase it by 0.5 meter. That's not centered yet. I'll increase it by 1 meter. That's too much. So now you can change your increment like this. There, so I've increased. I increment offset there, so that's knocked it down to 0.7. Actually, I think 0.7 would be about right. Drive along there, and that will hold exactly on there. So we'll run along here. It's just moved it up the hill ever so slightly, possibly a little bit more than I really originally wanted it, but I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. And then we're going to make a new field up there. That's going to be our first arable field. So this one along here is going to be our grass field. This will stay as our grass field. It's probably slightly bigger than it used to be, but that's fine. And then we will start, well, we'll start going around the outside of that one up there, and we'll mark that one out as an arable field. And then we've got a little dog leg right up the top. And I was originally thinking that we wouldn't be using that. We'd put some sheds or something up there. I'm still not 100% sure. We'll sort of travel up there maybe and have a little look. But I might just... You hear it bleeping at me at the moment? That's because it's come to the end of what it thinks is the field. So it's bleeping at me just to tell me that it's come to the end of the field. But we're not stopping just yet. We're going to go up just a tiny little bit further to here. And I'm going to take it to that point right there. Okay. I'm going to turn off the allow create fields. Lift that one out. The guidance thing, we'll change that over in a second. We're going to come back over here. Before I do any more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to landscaping here. And we're just going to have a look. I'm not actually landscaping, but this is a really cool thing for being able to sort of mark out where we want stuff. So we've got these massive, great big boulders in the way, right? And that causes us a problem. So I could either sort of, what I originally said was I was going to have a straight line going up through there, all the way up to the top. And it was going to pretty much go a straight line like that. So I need to pretty much go from this tree here in a line to there. That's where the line was going to be. It's going to be in a straight line down through there. So just up against that rock. This bit here was going to be where the sheds and stuff were going to be. So we were just going to have a straight field up through here. Although that's going to end up making a bit of a triangular field, isn't it? Because if I look over here... Oh, actually... Not by very much. That's a pretty straight line coming up through there. And then you move over this way, and line it up with that tree, and you've got a pretty straight line, straight-ish line. No. If I move back, that's not much of a straight line at all. It's all the way over there. Right. That's going to have to be... No, I'm going to have to come back like that. Move up a little bit. We'll see. I think we need to sort of put it from there, and then we run in a line down over to here. But we want to keep these two fields separate. I want to put a line across there, and we'll keep that we'll have a bit of a gap there. I'm not quite sure. But what I was thinking is we would put a track in there. And a track would work quite well, actually. If we were to run a track in along here. And we'll do that by painting it. Now, I know that this is going to cost money. But I honestly think that this is, like, a really good way of... Okay. That's on a diagonal up through there. That's, rotate camera. Change landscaping. Camera zoom. Change strength. Change radius. Can you rotate the tool? I want to be able to rotate the tool on here. I don't think you can. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. You can't rotate the square tool. I wanted a square tool along there. That would have been a lot better. Right, well, there doesn't seem to be any way that we can do that. And I want a track along here, see. I want to be able to put a track all the way along here. I think that would be quite good. I mean, I know that we got a track up there. But just coming up from the farm and being able to have a little track along there, I thought would be quite a cool thing. But I'm not going to do that at the moment. That's actually not what I want to do. We're not going to make anything special on there. What I am going to do is I'm going to go to... Oh, we don't have it. You know that the broken ground one, but apparently we don't have that option in this map. So we can go for sand, we can go for dirt like that. Concrete. There's some dirt right there, which would be that one, which is actually one that I think that we want to use. So I'm going to go to here and zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to make that one a little bit bigger. That's gone out a little bit too far. I don't like the way that it's pulling up like that. So I'm going to have to go back down through. Actually, I could do that. We could do this. That's too big, isn't it? How much does it cost? It doesn't cost all that much to paint the ground. At least we've got that in our favor. But what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to paint the ground like this. Paint over further than I want to go, and then run the plough along afterwards and straighten it up. That, I think, is how we're going to have to do this, so that we've got a track that defines the two fields. And the reason that I want a track that is going to define the edges of the two fields is just because then we've got sort of something that we can use, we can drive along. I think it would be better. I just think that that would be an improvement. So I'm going to do it up to there. I'm not going to go any further than that for now. We'll worry about doing that later. And also, then, right, if you look over this side, there, if I bring that sort of out like that there, what we've actually got here, let me come out of there. What we've actually got here is a... Oh, nice. I can just put that one... I can put it back onto here, can't I? Go on like that. There. We've got a track there available to run the trees out for our next load of work in there. And yeah, I know, that does look really big. That looks absolutely enormous on there at the moment, but it's going to be fine. You'll see. Now, if I travel back up here with the plough again... And I can see that it is definitely going in the right spot just up through here. It's not causing me any problems. So it should then move out. It's bleating at me. There we go. Moves on out and we go right up to the edge of the track that we just made. And that's what I wanted to do. I did actually want to do that. That was part of the master plan. It all needed to be like that. There we go. Just missed a little tiny bit there because of the movement of the plough, I think. And I'll run you up to here like this. Easy does it. Yeah, there's a little tiny bit of greenery there on the side. That's fine. It's just as long as the track, sort of, it goes right up to the edge of the track. That's what I want on this. There's a little bit there that I missed. But honestly, like, the odd little bit doesn't matter. This bit here, I definitely don't want to keep that. Yeah, we would smooth that out and we get rid of that. And then I can come right up here like this. And that's far enough. I don't need to go any further than that. So then I can lift you out. I will turn off the allow create fields just for a second. And then I'm going to go up here, and we're going to go in this one, and I'm going to reset the offset completely. So we stick with the tractor as it was. Now, I can go up to there. That's a bit too much of a gap, I think. So if I go here, I've got about a plough and a half width in there. And I think that is perfect. I think that's spot on perfect to go along the edge of that track. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to bring this one to here and drop it in. We will... There, we'll square that one up afterwards. I just want to do this bottom run along here. There, I think that's looking really good there. I really like that. I think that's going to be absolutely spot on perfect. It should be big. It's a big enough gap, I'm hoping, that the AI will recognize the two separate fields. Now, the next problem that we've got is running to the edge of the field. Now, this is the bit that's slightly more tricky. So if I go back to landscaping here, and I swivel it round this way. I know where I said originally that I wanted to do this, but I'm going to ignore all of that. And I want to go... I sort of got to keep this one into account. Now, I can either sort of come up this side and then put a little shape in like that. Because we'd end up sort of putting something up through here. So I'm kind of thinking that we go up there, and then we go out round the rock, and then I go straight up there. And this bit in here gets left. I don't turn that into field. Because, I mean, the other option is simply that I just put a little curve in the middle of the field and I carry on up there. But that means that we'd have more work to do every time we come into the field and we do... Although, with the AI vehicle extension, maybe that would be an interesting... more of an interesting challenge. Maybe that is something that we should consider doing. So, I mean, if I look at the pattern on the ground, so that I can get this as straight as possible, I bring that to about that point there. And, yeah, I know that we've got a huge, great big field over there on that bit now. Not field, so we've got a huge, great big track over on that bit. But we'll do something with that afterwards. And we'll quite possibly change some of the tracks later on. I'm not going to change all of them. We'll keep some of them... We'll keep some of them as they are, and I'm not going to put tracks in between all of the fields. Some of the fields we won't. I mean, I don't know how many fields I'm going to have. What I could very well end up doing is extending this field, like bring it down near that boulder and just extend the field over and have it running along the bank, all the way along there, because it's not that steep a bank. I mean, we have got a bank there, but it's not all that steep, I don't think. Now, I'm going to run in a straight line up here. When we follow the other edge, we won't sort of have the luxury of running these straight lines like I'm doing up here. But this, I can afford to run it in a dead straight line. Also, just about run out of time for today's episode, so we're not going to finish marking out this field today. We will carry on marking out the field tomorrow, and then we'll be able to start filling it in. We'll be able to use the GPS to do that, and sort of get all the rest of it done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that around like that in a gentle curve. There. So I'm staying out a bit from the rock. Like that. Now I want to come back in. And now this is the main thing, is where is the field on the bottom part? I don't think it really matters, to be honest. We just sort of bring it up somewhere along these lines. And this is where I need to actually... make sure that I'm running this a bit straighter. And yeah, I know it's in the ground, and I definitely shouldn't be doing that. Right, and it'll go to there. There's my straight line that I want to run to up through here. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.